Hi, I'm Daniel Thomas, producer here at Realtree, and excited to be with you guys today to talk a little bit about the outdoors and the passion for the outdoors. I got involved in hunting and fishing at a very early age thanks to my grandfather. He used to love to take me and my brothers fishing mostly. We were a big fishing family and loved the outdoors, and my parents got me involved in the Boy Scouts after that, and we did a lot of camping and fishing and hiking and that kind of thing, and that eventually just kind of manifested itself and just loved being outside and loved the outdoors, and which eventually led to me working in the outdoors to feed that passion. A funny story that's happened to me here at Realtree since I worked here was my first trip to the Milk River. I was with the owner, president, Bill Jordan, and I was really excited to go to the Milk River. First of all, because the Milk River for us is kind of like a Super Bowl. It's huge. Everybody wants to go to the Milk River. So it's my first trip to the Milk River. I was really excited. It was my first morning out. We're walking to the stand early that morning, and we walk up, and I climb up the stand first, and I'm getting my stuff set up. And Bill's coming up behind me, and I can hear him making noise, and he's upset about something. And I can't figure out why he's upset. Is he having a hard time climbing the tree? Is his knee going bad on him again? I don't know what's going on. So he gets up there, and he's upset because apparently as we were walking to the stand, I had stepped in some coyote mess and had tracked it all the way up the stand. And so every rung of the ladder had coyote mess, and it was all over his seat where I had stepped in his seat. So my first trip to the Milk River kind of started off with a little sour note, because he couldn't sit down all day because it had coyote mess in his seat. I think it's so important for students to get involved in the outdoors because, like anything, the sport is depending on the next generation to come and continue where we've taken it now. Obviously, we're excited where the sport is, but if it doesn't continue to grow, it's just going to fade away, and that's something that we do not want to see happen. So it's so important for youth and students to get involved in leadership roles in the outdoors, because without that, the sport just would dissolve away. And we want to kind of show that the sport is cool, it's fun, and it's enjoyable, and it's a way to bond with your friends, your family, and it's something you can do your entire life. You can have sports, for example, like baseball. I enjoyed playing baseball when I was in high school, loved it, wouldn't trade anything in the world for it, but that was just a short period of my life. Whereas hunting and fishing, I can continue to do that I started with my grandfather, do it with my father, my brothers, and then I'll continue to do that with my son and hopefully my grandchildren one day. So it's a lifelong sport, whereas other sports may come and go. This is something you can do for an entire lifetime. When it comes to leadership, trust is probably the most important thing for me. And the reason is, especially in the outdoors, is when I go off with someone, I have to be able to trust that person. And that's with anything, hunting and fishing. I don't want to go 30 miles offshore with a captain who is the leader of the boat that I can't trust. I don't want to climb into a deer stand that the hunter has hung, that I don't trust that he hung the deer stand right. And so trust for me in the outdoors is huge, because we're so depending on people for not only safety reasons, but just to ensure that we have a successful trip. We have to be able to trust that leader. And you can't be a leader without the people that you're leading trusting you. Guides are oftentimes for us the people that we put a lot of trust into, simply because that we don't have a lot of time to go and scout and prepare for hunts that we go on. We have to literally trust the guide to put us in the right situation to be successful. And this past year we were on an elk hunt with David, and it was the last day, and we're getting anxious, and we're really wanting to get a show because we have a lot of good material to work with, and we've invested a lot of time and money into this trip, and we really need a show. It was the last day, day 7, and we're starting to not question the guy, but start to get a little concerned, because really we've been here for 7 days. Something needs to happen. And the elk are bugling, and we're really last day having to put 100% trust in him, because he was taking us to a new spot where we hadn't been, we didn't know the area, and the elk weren't there at the time, but they were coming. And so we pretty much had to sit there and listen to elk bugle off in the distance and not go to them like you want to do. When you, like a turkey, when you hear a turkey gobble, you want to go to the turkey. It's hard to sit and wait and trust that, okay, the guide has seen these elk come by this particular spot on several occasions. They're coming, just be patient. And so on the last day, it was hard for us to trust him to be able to sit there and put all our chips in that basket. And luckily for us, sure enough, midday, here they came strolling through and we were able to harvest an elk. If I could go back to high school, there's several things that you would think you would do different that you've learned as you've gotten older. And for me, probably the biggest thing in high school is understanding how important academics plays in your future. For me, high school was just something that I was trying to get through as fast as I could, get out of the house, get to college or wherever I was going to go next in life, and to just suffer through high school. Because really, when am I ever going to use algebra? When am I ever going to use chemistry? I mean, I'm not going to be a chemist. I mean, I knew that from an early age. But I think what I learned as I got older was that being able to succeed in chemistry, or being able to succeed in math, even though you may or may not use those particular skills again, what that's doing is telling an employer in the future that I can do a task that I may or may not necessarily want to do, and I can do it well, and I can get it done on time. And for me, that was the biggest thing, is to be able to take and apply myself more in stuff that I may not have been interested in. And once I found what I was interested in, obviously school was easy for me. Once I found that, hey, I like this TV stuff, then was interested in it, so I could, be fully involved in it. But I wish I would have spent more time in doing the things that, and preparing myself in things that I weren't necessarily interested in, to make me a better rounded person, to let myself and others know, future employers or whatever, that I can do things that I don't necessarily want to do or I'm not interested in, but still get it done and get it done right. One of the things that my grandfather used to always tell me when I was growing up, and I think this is a valuable piece of advice, is that if you find something that you love to do and you pursue that and you do that and you find a way to make a living in it, you'll never work a day in your life. And for me, finding a passion in the outdoors and being able to work in this industry, it doesn't, some days it feels like work, but mostly it feels like, really we kind of laughing that I can't believe we get paid to do this a lot of times. So if you find something you're truly passionate about, whatever that may be, pursue it and go after it, because in the end, regardless of how much money you make, or regardless of the things you have, you cannot put a price tag on being happy. So find what you're happy, find what makes you happy, and pursue it with all you have. And I think that's the biggest piece of advice I can give students.